The Senator from the Berkshires, Mr. Downing.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And through you to the distinct senior member from the minority corner. The MEFAP program, the Mass Emergency Food Assistance Program, is a program that has long enjoyed broad bipartisan support in this chamber and throughout state government for the important role that it plays in supplementing the other means-tested food assistance programs that are run by the federal government, managed by the state government here in Massachusetts. We all know full well, and we discussed at length yesterday, that while the economy has recovered in whole, there are still many pockets where too many of our constituents have not been able to get back to where they were before the Great Recession, or over the better part of several decades have not seen their wages grow. And while health care costs and other costs have soared, it has put pressure on their family budgets. Unfortunately, at the same time, we've seen the population in the Commonwealth living in poverty, and in particular pockets of poverty, of persistent, deep, and pervasive poverty, growing in all different corners of our Commonwealth. This has led to a growing meals gap in the Commonwealth, a growing population that lives each day not knowing where full 3 healthy meals will come from. By the estimation of the various food banks throughout the Commonwealth, that number in total is almost 84,000 meals each year in the Commonwealth that families don't know where they will be able to get them. That's with the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program and any number of other feeding programs. Now, thanks to the effort of the legislature of previous administrations, we've been able to supplement the federal government programs through MEFAP. In the past few years, like every other program, MEFAP has been whittled down as we've had to deal with the impact on our state revenues of difficult economic times. But thankfully, over these last few years, we have been able to build it back up. We know from visiting any number of different pantries throughout our districts that are served by the 4 food banks here in Massachusetts that there is a growing population that come to those food banks and pantries that are not eligible for other means-tested programs. In fact, 44%, I'll say it again, 44% of the individuals, our constituents, our neighbors, our family members, our friends who show up at food pantries are not eligible for SNAP and other means-tested food assistance programs. In the past few years, we have seen fully 16.3 million nutritious meals delivered by our regional food banks through the 842 local food providers across the Commonwealth. That would mean that 7.17 million of those meals were going to individuals who had nowhere else to turn and were not eligible for other programs. So the investment that we make in this program will make sure that many of our residents who fall between the cracks of eligibility in too many other programs are able to get a healthy meal, able to get a nutritious meal. And we all know the impact of that, whether it's for that kid showing up at school the next day, not thinking about where his next meal is going to come from or her next meal is going to come from, but rather focusing on the great work being done by one of the thousands of teachers across this Commonwealth. A parent being able to show up at work and be present and think about their job and be a more productive worker, not worried about whether or not they're going to be able to put a meal on the table at the end of the month while they wait for the paycheck to come in, be able to pay their health care bills, be able to think about other unknown expenses that could come out. If we adopt this amendment today, Mr. President, we will be ensuring that we start to cut into that meals gap. A $1 million investment in the MEFAP program will ensure that there is another 3.4 million meals across the Commonwealth available to that unfortunately growing portion of the population served by pantries and served by food banks. Let me close by saying this, Mr. President. I look forward to the day that we don't have to file these amendments. I look forward to the day that we don't have to stand on this floor and say that we need more funding for this program because we have started to drive down those numbers, making sure that more people have the cash in their wallets and in their pockets and in their savings accounts and checking accounts to be able to provide before this. I know that's our work. I know that's our shared and common goal. So I look forward to that day, and I also look forward, hopefully, to broad bipartisan support when a vote is taken on this amendment. And I ask that when a vote is taken, it be taken by a call of the yeas and nays.
By a call of the yeas and nays. Those joining with him rise and be counted. A sufficient number having arisen. When the vote is taken, it will be taken by a call.
The Chair of Ways and Means and her dedicated staff for their work, you for your work, and certainly the Minority Leader and his staff for their work on this issue in making it a priority moving forward. Thank you very much.